In today's episode, we examine a case that resulted in the capture of a notorious gang, described by the police as a supergang, led by former long-haul truck driver David Sell. This case was the focus of Operation Escalade, an initiative aimed at dismantling major drug and gun syndicates. The key witness against Sell was initially a prime suspect in the murder of Kevin Gerbil Carroll. However, an assassination attempt on this witness and the subsequent flight of members from a notorious crime firm raised questions about who would take over the criminal empire and how long they could hold power. Let's delve into it. David Sell's gang, known as the Supergang, generated over £200 million annually as a major drug supplier. The gang operated with 9 core members, including former soldier Martin Fitzsimmons, cocaine dealer Mark Richardson, and electronics expert Francis Mulligan. They were the primary distributor of cocaine across Scotland, England, and Wales, using advanced counter-surveillance techniques and cutting-edge surveillance equipment. The gang's arsenal of weapons rivaled that of a Hollywood action movie, with drugs and firearms concealed in an SUV and fortified lockups. Law enforcement faced significant challenges, including conducting risk assessments to protect undercover officers. David Sell and his gang attracted the attention of authorities and were observed interacting with major cartels in South America and Brazil. Operation Escalade, funded by the government, aimed to dismantle major drug and gun syndicates with shared intelligence from UK police, the DEA, and Interpol. David Sell journeyed to Brazil to connect with cartels for pure cocaine, overseeing its transport to Europe via West Africa. With control over concealment and packaging, he led a £200 million gang, seemingly untouchable by law enforcement. The crew shared profits, operating with military precision. But as they planned revenge on a traitor, tensions threatened their unity and operation. In March 2015, Robert Allen got caught up in a £45,000 deal with the Supergang as a small-time drug dealer. He brokered a deal with gang member Barry O'Neill, but it went south when he failed to come up with the funds. Despite Allen's efforts to return the drugs, the gang demanded £30,000 from him. With a huge debt hanging over him, Allen fled Scotland as he couldn't afford to pay up. However, David Sell's gang had already anticipated his escape by secretly placing a tracking device on Allen's car. Seeking refuge in Barnsley, South Yorkshire, Allen's attempt to escape sparked amusement from David Sell. But Sell knew he had to take action to avoid setting a precedent for other debtors. Sell and his gang decided to follow Allen's movements using the tracking device on his car. They eventually tracked him to a housing estate in Barnsley, where Sell hatched a plan to lure Allen out. Sell wrote a note and placed it on Allen's car windshield, pretending to be a concerned neighbor with a parking issue. Meanwhile, Sell and his gang members strategically positioned themselves around Allen's residence. When Allen discovered the note and investigated, one of Sell's associates deflated Allen's tires while Sell and the others approached his house, ready to confront him. Robert Allen found himself in a terrifying situation as he opened the door, only to be met with a swift attack from David Sell wielding a can of Stella. The physical altercation that followed was chaotic, with Allen managing to defend himself by pushing Sell away and locking the door. However, 2 other gang members had already breached the rear of the property by smashing a patio window and were rushing towards him. In the midst of the chaos, Allen managed to disarm one of the assailants of a handgun and incapacitate him with a knee strike to the groin. But before he could fully take control of the situation, he was blindsided by a blow to the face, causing him to lose the firearm. He was then subjected to further violence as one of the gang members pistol whipped him. Sell entered the room through the shattered patio window, chuckling as he settled into an armchair without saying a word. The tension in the room was palpable as one of the gang members accused Allen of stealing from them, emphasizing that it was a matter of principle rather than money. Allen was then bound with a chain and forcibly taken to a waiting van, where Sell and another member joined him, while the rest followed in a BMW. The journey that followed was grueling, lasting 7 hours before they arrived at an abandoned warehouse in West Lothian. Over the course of more than 24 hours, Allen endured relentless physical abuse, including a brutal assault with a sledgehammer that left him with a broken leg. He was further traumatized with a Beretta 9000 equipped with a silencer and had bleach sprayed onto his wounds. One of the gang members expressed concern for Allen's survival, fearing the consequences of a potential murder charge. Allen was stripped, washed down with a pressure washer, and subjected to dehumanizing treatment. Throughout all of this, David Sell remained silent and refrained from taking part in the violence. The next day, Allen was hooded and taken to East Kilbride, where he was shot 3 times in the kneecaps by 2 gang members, with Sell notably absent. Despite his excruciating pain, he was ordered to crawl towards the motorway, but his injuries made him immobile. The gang heartlessly reminded him of his debt before pushing him down a hillside, leaving him in agonizing pain. Allen lost consciousness halfway down the hill and was later found by a couple walking their dog. He was rushed to the hospital and underwent months of extensive treatment for multiple fractures, with his injuries posing a serious threat to his life. The trauma of his harrowing ordeal would haunt him for years to come. The investigation into Robert Allen's abduction faced hurdles due to a lack of substantial information. Despite Allen's inability to identify any captors, he singled out David Sell. However, Allen's statement indicated Sell had not participated in violence or wielded a weapon. He was just present with a can of Stella. Furthermore, no tangible evidence connected Sell to the crime scene. Sell provided a solid alibi supported by phone GPS data, placing him elsewhere during the abduction. His alibi was confirmed by his friend David McFarlane, who said Sell had spent the evening at his flat sharing drinks. With no concrete evidence against Sell, police hit a dead end. Sell's decision to stay silent hindered progress in the case. Despite ongoing assault charges against Allen, lack of evidence linking Sell to the incident stalled the investigation. Police were stuck, unable to establish Sell's presence or involvement in the kidnapping. 2 years later, Operation Escalade was targeting criminal enterprises, including the Gillespie brothers organization. With incriminating evidence and arrests looming, the Gillespie siblings fled to Brazil, the source of their illicit goods. In their absence, James White took over the drug empire, with Paul Fleming as his second-in-command. David Sell's criminal network was also a key target, with estimated profits of £200 million. Law enforcement surveilled locations linked to Sell, maintaining radio silence to avoid detection. CCTV cameras were strategically placed to cover routes. During Operation Escalade, officers monitored Mark Richardson, a member of Sell's gang, approaching a silver Toyota Yaris in Glasgow. Richardson tried to evade capture but was eventually caught by armed police. A hidden compartment in the car's trunk revealed a Glock 17 handgun with Richardson's DNA, leading to the unraveling of Sell's criminal operation. The firearm would have gone undetected if not for the officers' observation and discovery of the concealed compartment, showing the sophistication of Sell's criminal activities. Law enforcement made a shocking discovery the following week when they found multiple sets of keys, including one labeled Anna in an industrial unit on Croftside Avenue in Crawford, a district of South Glasgow. Another key location was identified on Western Farm Road, known as a vital logistics hub. It was suspected that this site was where Francis Mulligan and Anthony Woods worked on modifying a portion of the gang's vehicle fleet, estimated at £250,000. By carefully matching the keys with addresses linked to the gang, authorities were led to a storage facility on Whittingham Drive, Anniesland, in the West End of Glasgow, on February 5, 2017. The gang had rented this space under a false identity, paying £500 in cash up front each month. The lockup had a noticeable metal door secured with 2 padlocks, different from the other rundown wooden doors in the facility. Detective Chief Superintendent McLean highlighted the discovery of a key fob labeled Annie that helped in narrowing down the search to Anniesland. Upon entering the storage unit, officers found a stash of 11 firearms meticulously packed and labeled. The weapons included Glock pistols, a Heckler & Koch submachine gun, and an M75 hand grenade. The crucial discovery, however, was finding Robert Allen's DNA on a Beretta 9000 pistol fitted with a silencer, the same gun used in his assault in March 2015. This breakthrough provided tangible evidence linking the gang to criminal activities, especially the brutal attack on Allen. Alongside the firearms, the uncovering of advanced surveillance equipment was eye-opening. This state-of-the-art technology highlighted the significant gap between law enforcement capabilities and the sophistication of criminal operations, necessitating beefed-up security measures to address vulnerabilities. A notable revelation was the gang's skill in maintaining a low digital footprint by using jamming surveillance equipment to shield their phone signals, making it impossible for police to intercept their communications. Law enforcement was stunned by the unprecedented firepower possessed by the criminal group, setting a new benchmark in organized crime history in Scotland. The level of weaponry and its sophistication posed a significant challenge to authorities in combating the gang's illicit activities. The gang's trial, initially set to span 3 months, took an unexpected turn with David Sell's plea of not guilty. However, David McFarland, age 61, testified in court, claiming Sell was with him during the kidnapping incident involving Robert Allen. Paul the Captain Fleming, a key figure tied to the shooting of Kevin the Gerbil Carroll, was a lieutenant to James the Don White, who took over the Gillespie brothers' operations. Fleming faced an assassination attempt but narrowly escaped, later getting involved in a car crash. Surprisingly, Sell and his associates pleaded guilty after the failed hit on Fleming, leading to a much quicker resolution than the anticipated trial. Sell's guilty plea contradicted McFarland's testimony, resulting in McFarland's arrest. Sell received a hefty sentence of 15 years and 8 months for the abduction of Robert Allen, while other gang members also faced severe penalties for their criminal activities. Barry O'Neill got 7 years and 4 months for drug distribution. Anthony Woods got 11 years and 1 month for organized crime involvement. Francis Mulligan got 8 years and 324 days for similar charges. And Michael Bowman got 7 years for his role in the gang. Gerard Docherty received a sentence of 10 years and 6 months for a shooting incident. Mark Richardson got 8 years and 9 months for possession of a Glock handgun. And Stephen McCardle received 7 years and 100 days for a similar offense. Martin Fitzsimmons, a 37-year-old ex-Army veteran, was imprisoned for 10.5 years for possessing illegal weapons and funds. Police noted the gang's involvement in large-scale cocaine importation, emphasizing their status as major suppliers to organized crime groups. The statement also highlighted the gang's significant firepower, marking a dangerous escalation in Scotland's organized crime landscape. In 2019, accountant David McFarland faced consequences for his false alibi, receiving a 3-year prison sentence. This underscored the justice system's commitment to holding all parties involved in criminal activities accountable. Following the downfall of the Gillespie brothers' drug empire, James the Don White took over and was later sentenced to 10 years in prison in 2023 for drug trafficking and ties to organized crime. Authorities dismantled his illegal business, with jokes circulating about his wealth surpassing even Rolex. Paul Fleming, another key member, was also convicted and received a 9-year sentence. The fallout extended to Joe Shields, defense lawyer for David Sell, who was violently attacked and left with life-altering injuries. The Gillespie brothers fled to Brazil to avoid prosecution, but rumors suggested they met a grim fate. Robert Allen, a victim of a brutal attack, continues to suffer from permanent injuries and requires assistance for mobility, highlighting the lasting impact of organized crime's violence. David Sell's gang, known for brutal assaults and fear-inducing access to firearms and resources, evaded police scrutiny with forensic expertise and were dubbed the Supergang. Operation Escalade continues as investigations into criminal activities remain ongoing. Assets linked to key figures like James the Don White and Sell are being traced internationally by the DEA and Interpol, with seizures underway. UK law enforcement has seized assets from drug cartels, including real estate, vehicles, cash, and businesses acquired illegally. Seizing criminal assets has become a key strategy in dismantling crime networks, shifting the perception that crime leads to financial gain. The government's pursuit of illicit proceeds has proven effective in deterring criminals, who struggle to prove the legitimacy of their acquisitions. This approach represents a significant change in how crime is perceived, with authorities targeting criminal profits to dismantle illegal enterprises. That's it for today's video. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and please like and subscribe as it really helps the channel, and I will see you next time. Thank you.